Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Jacksonville Buzz. I am your host, Adrienne Houghton, and joining me once again on the sofa here is my trusted Steve, Tom Reber. Joining us in the studio today is the Mayor of the City of Atlantic Beach, and that is Curtis Ford. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Adrienne.
It's a real pleasure to meet you. I know that you actually know Tom well, don't you?
I'm not going to admit anything.
I love you, man.
Good to see you, Tom.
Good to see you, Curtis.
I've got a question before we go into things that are going on currently with Atlantic Beach, and that is, how did you get involved in city government?
Things happen, and you just never know. I'm a community-oriented guy. I spent years involved in nonprofit work at the beaches.
Yes.
I retired from mortgage banking, ended up working a few years for Habitat for Humanity in Atlantic Beach. And then in retirement, it just so happened there was an election coming up for mayor, and I thought I could give back to the community, so here I am, mayor of Atlantic Beach.
And I'm going to jump on that. I built my first house because it was the right thing to do with Habitat for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And you inspired our team. I worked with Curtis in the mortgage business, and he brought high tide to the team. He helped us look outside of our normal boundaries. His leadership is fantastic. So
thank you, Tom.
for that, I would always want to make sure that you got the utmost respect for that type of
Thank
stuff.
you so much.
That's good to know.
It is.
It's good to know. What do you think is the most pressing issue currently with Atlantic Beach?
It's easy. Right now, it's Save Our School. The little pink iconic school known as Atlantic Beach Elementary is on a list for possible potential closure in the Duval County school system. We don't think it's going to happen. Our citizens are out there in force in pink. You will see them on the news. You'll see them on the streets. You'll see our street signs. But let me be clear. That iconic school means everything to the city of Atlantic Beach. It is a focal point in our community. It is what makes the community such an attractive place to live. And here's something, Tom, that you'll appreciate. There are generational alumni in the city of Atlantic Beach that choose to move back to our city to raise their children because of that school. There are grandparents that stay there to have their children raise their children. So.
Why do you think the Duval County School Board decided on this?
If we're fair to what's happening, the Duval County School Board is upside down on their capital plan to improve schools and rebuild schools and refurbish. And so they are $1.3, $1.4 billion short on that plan. So they simply had an analysis done that said, here is the most efficient thing you could do to bring the cost down, consolidate schools, close schools. So we don't think that's anywhere close to what's going to happen, but we're not going to wait and see.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's just too much, isn't it?
It is. I mean, obviously I have 2 grandkids now. We're thinking about kindergartens and things like that. And to your point, the generation going forward, being able to walk to school, being it's in your community, such a core.
Well, Tom, you can imagine in a little oceanside community just east of here that one of the biggest things that makes for quality of life is walkability, bikeability.
Yes.
I see our neighbors every day, and I refer to all of our citizens as neighbors.
Yeah.
I see them at Publix. I see them at the car wash. I see them everywhere. And the funny thing is, I can't remember everybody's name, but I sure as heck remember their dog's name. That's important.
Most important.
But you pointed out, for elementary age children, the ability to walk to school or bike to school is so important. The ability to go to class with classmates that live on your street or the next street over is extremely important. And when I think about, obviously at that age, parents will guide their children to school and home from school, but what about when they're old enough to ride their bike to an after-school activity? If that activity is 5 miles away in the neighboring city, they're not riding their bicycle to school.
No, that's for sure. Now, you also wish to revise some of your area codes. Which ones are they?
There's so much to look at. First of all, let me say the city of Atlantic Beach is in great shape, and we have great people leading both inside on staff and citizen engagement. Our committees are the best. But it's so important while we deal with all of the normal things of providing streets, water, and drainage and public safety, we also have to remember we're on a coastal barrier island. So resiliency with potential sea level rise and more frequent storms, resiliency matters.
Yeah.
So we're looking at code. We'll actually strengthen or stiffen some of our code, and we may actually relax some of it where we've got some history now and realize we didn't get the results from the expectations of changing a few years ago.
Curtis, I can't thank you enough for coming
Yeah.
into the studio. It's
Yeah.
wonderful to see you.
Always great to see you.
And good luck with your campaign for November.
Thank you, Adrian.
Let's hope that we'll be sitting here again next year.
We will. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Thomas.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
And if you'd like to know any more about what's going on at the city of Atlantic Beach, you can find it on dailynewsnetwork.com.